I gotta get in there under this nice waterfall. Welcome back. We are hauling out. I had a little bit left on the spreader when it blew a hose, and just wanted to get out here and get that hauled off. It's been raining for a good solid week. We probably got well over a foot of rain, which means my manure pit filled back up, so we get to get back into tanking all that out. And I kind of wanted to get out here just to see how muddy it was, and it's muddy enough it's sticking to the tires, but I think if we just stay on top and spread across the top field here, we can probably get a few loads out today. Yesterday I fixed the green manure tank, put new bearings in that, and for good measure I even cleaned out the inside. I blasted the hose in there, and I probably got at least 2 or 3 small square bales worth of hay and old feed out of it, which is what plugged up that orange tank to start the year. So that'll be a good thing to have out of there, and it should flow out a lot better. Oh yeah, that's pretty. That is beautiful. Can't wait to get it. Well, yesterday was a bit muddy yet, so I didn't end up hauling any more manure, but it dried out fair enough. I think if I stay on top of the hill with the manure tanks, we could probably make something go. And I'm just waiting for the end gate on this spreader to open, which I don't know if that end gate's just getting rusty or this tractor hydraulics just ain't top notch. It could honestly be either one. But I'm gonna haul this load out quick, and then we're gonna get both tanks going. You know, usually these white cabs are pretty quiet, except when you don't have air conditioning and you got all the windows open. They can be kind of loud. But by God, is it a nice smooth ride. Well, we made it out to the pit, and I was just about to get stuff started, and I looked down the hill and noticed, if you look real close there, you can just barely see. There we are. Got a new little calf on the ground, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. We'll worry about that come chore time. And I figured while I was out here and on the ground, for anybody wondering what I was talking about in that last video, this piece here is what broke off that tank and fell inside it. And as you can see, it pretty much just flaked apart all the steel around it and fell in. And that's kind of the shape that tank is in. But as you can see, the old pit has got plenty of liquid in it again, so we're gonna get pumping this out. Probably not gonna agitate it, just suck the liquids out now that the back part slumped down. And after cleaning that green tank out, there was an awful lot of feed, old feed and hay in it that plugged it up. So I'm thinking if I just suck the liquids out of it rather than stir it, maybe we can avoid all that. Hopefully, that's my plan anyway. Get this thing fired up. Well, as you can clearly tell, I made a pass right there with liquid manure. And if you can't tell, that's because I imagine that throat is full of frickin' hay and feed again. So, I'm gonna have to walk back in, get the impact, pull that thing off, which I'm really good at now, and stick a pry bar in there and bust all the hay loose and dump this whole load of tank. Not thrilled. I am not thrilled about that. And that is why I'm not agitating today, because I'm sick of getting feed and hay in the goddamn tank. God, that's a lot of weight there. Jesus. So thank God it's only like 75 and 1,000,000% humidity. So I'll get nice and sweaty in my walk back in. Freaking great. Hate this. I'm this close just to pushing that whole tank in the woods. Just go to the top of the hill, pull the pin out. Not my problem. Oh, there goes the roxer. I called Dad and said, bring me out the impact and the impact set. He must have heard, come on out and get a list of tools I need. Luckily, there was a 3/4 inch wrench, so I can at least get started. And it's not a total loss. You got Danny over there in the other spreader. He's going like a rape bait, but get this out of the way and hopefully she's smooth sailing from here. And hopefully what I think is wrong with it is wrong with it, which I give a pretty strong possibility of being. Otherwise, I got no idea what the hell's wrong. I'd give it like a 99.99999% chance that right in here there's a bunch of hay and feed and sitting overnight. Well, I guess it's been sitting for a week now since I last hauled with it. All that stuff just kind of settled down there. Plugged her right up. And I guess the impeller doesn't create quite enough vacuum to suck it through here, so there's a little plate under here. I'm hoping I can get my pry bar in and bust through that. Once you break her loose, then it kind of floods and flushes all that out. I'm hoping I can get at it through this plate rather than taking this whole damn thing off again, because that is, well, I'm pretty tough. I can probably muscle it in and out of there, but it's not my first choice of things to do. So, man, where's that impact? That'd be so much easier than this. We'll get her. And while I was down here wrenching, holy Jesus, oh, taking that nut off, I realized that cap is supposed to be on there. So yeah, that's how I plugged it up. I filled this whole manure tank and nothing came out of this. There's going to be a lot of junk in here. But I see we're starting to leak already, so there is some liquid seeping its way through. Which means I'm probably about to take a shower. And of course I'm sitting on level ground, so this is going to be a big puddle. So once it does flush, I'm going to have to hurry up and get in the tractor. Otherwise it's going to be sitting in the middle of a big slurry puddle. And I don't want to do that, because I am not wearing the boots for that. Hopefully he brings a towel back. I'm going to need that. Alright, well, plan A to take that little plate cover off didn't work. I could shove up in there, but I couldn't really get anything flowing. So, Danny actually decided plan B, just rock that tank back and forth and maybe it'll push it out, which sounded like a pretty good idea. Then we started doing it, and basically I just had a tidal wave of shit coming out of both ends. Kind of like when you eat Taco Bell. But, yeah, we made a pretty good mess. And still no success there, so we gotta take that fan off. And I tell you, the struggles of not only putting up feed for these cows and then handling their waste is starting to really just, man, it's starting to be a job. It's like, why do we even bother all this just for some cows? I'm thinking about going vegan. I gotta get in there under this nice waterfall. Gotta be getting about empty by now. Well, it's been going like this for about 5 minutes. Anybody got any bubble gum? Well, it is about 3:20 so. Finally got the tank put back together, and I'm hopefully going to get one load hauled today. So whatever happens, happens. If this tank breaks down at all in the next week, day, I'm just done. I'm cutting it. I'm parking it. That's it. The spot that was leaking a whole bunch, I cut an antifreeze jug and just put that behind the plate. A couple of the bolts were snapped off, so it's probably not going to seal up the greatest. I'm well aware of that. I'm just done with this tank. Luckily, Danny's been keeping the other one going all day, so it's something I actually got accomplished. Well, by God, we are doing it. You can hardly see, but we are in fact spreading. God, I don't know. Everyone always says farm on Sunday, fix on Monday. For me, it's try to farm Saturday morning, spend the rest of Saturday fixing, and then have to spend Sunday farming because you didn't get nothing done Saturday. I don't know. We got to come up with a better plan because this sucks. I want my weekends back. Whatever. That's what the winter's for. Of course, after I get the pit empty. After I get the pit empty, that's what the second half of winter is for. Good enough. Well, we're going, by God. This thing is actually spreading better than it has in a long time. It's probably actually getting enough stuff through it that it can actually spread something. Well, somewhere in between two yelling, fighting kids in the house, ruining Sunday football, and my neighbors just got their second combine going. They're gonna get that going on beans, while the other one is going on corn, and they're also tedding hay today. God, they are go-getters, which I strive to be someday. So I'm gonna haul a little manure today to make it look like something. But I tell you, living next to very, very successful, do not mess around, work right on through a Sunday. Yikes. It makes me feel like a piece of shit. So I'm gonna haul some manure to maybe feel like I accomplished something today. Well, I have come to the conclusion that I'm gonna stir the rest of whatever's in this pit so I can get as much hauled out as possible. The green tank really doesn't bother with really thick manure feed. That's more of an orange tank problem. And I'm guessing by this week I will have it all pumped out, which will probably only be me hauling with one tank anyway. Orange tank probably isn't going to make it through the winter, so that's getting parked and done, and it's about time. But so yeah, I'm probably going to stir this manure. Even if this orange tank, if it gets too thick to the point it can't pump it, I can pump it out still. The pump never has a problem. It don't care what it's doing. There was a chain in this tank, just a real light one off a gate, but it pumped it somehow, so it'll pump a chain. So even if the tank can't haul it, the pump will still pump it. I'll just hook up a slurry or a slinger and pump it into that and haul it out with that if I got to. But yeah, the bad part of stirring is it'll get really thick and the tank won't spread it, but a slinger will. And it is so much easier to pump it out than to fish it out with the skid loader. So I think I'm going to go back to stirring it, which that basically contradicts myself. Last time I talked and I said I wasn't going to stir it, but I want to stir it. So yeah, we'll see. Because I'm guessing with all that rain that's still in there, even though we pumped out quite a bit, you can see the line there. We dropped her a good foot, 16 inches I'd say. There's still a lot of liquid in there, so we're gonna get all that stirred up and try to get as much out as possible. That's my plan. It might be wrong, but you know what, if you're doing something, you're getting something done. I'm also gonna have to fire up this tractor and back it in. There's that gearbox where that fan is. I like to basically keep it submerged right to about there. It helps keep that gearbox in the manure and keeps the gearbox cool, which is a good thing. And since we pumped kind of just barely see that line right there where the level of the pit was, so we're gonna back it in that much farther, get her stern. Well, I got one load loaded, and by the end of it, it was pumping really hard, and when I started stirring it again, it was barely anything coming out of the launcher. So I'm guessing there's really not as much liquid in here as we think, especially when all that came forward. I don't think there's that much liquid in here, so I moved from over here back over to here where I pumped before, and there was even less, so I don't know if that was a good idea or not, but I'm gonna haul that one load out, come back, see if I can get one load loaded, or that might just be all that was left in it, which, I mean, for as much as we pumped out of here, it kind of makes sense for everything. And if everything back there was pretty well solid, like it probably could have been, because I imagine all the liquid still flowed across the top, and we might be done. I've said that before, so that probably don't mean nothing, but if I can't pump any more out, so be it. I'll get a skid loader. But yeah, that's not even pumping through this, and it's pretty thick, and that's skid loader time. Well, it is 1:30. We just hauled off the last load. Pump is pulled out of the pit. Unless we get any more rain, which I don't see any for about a week yet, we are probably done for hauling liquids. So I don't know, I imagine this week it's probably going to be starting to roll on combine, so I don't know if I'll be able to get slinger going and start in on after the pit, or if I'm going to be working at that. But if I don't start hauling with slingers and we do get more rain, we'll be back to hauling liquids. So I'm not going to get too excited to pull the pipe off, get the tractor unhooked, power washed, everything. So it's going to probably sit for until I'm well in there with the skid loader cleaning it out. But if I get about the front 50 feet done and it rains, I'll just back the pump right back in, pump out as much as I can. But yeah, so that's all for today, for my Sunday anyway. I'm okay with that. Yesterday was washing out tanks and dealing with this orange one, that damn thing there, which I can't wait to get that thing unhooked now. And I'm going to be real smart about where I park it, because wherever I park it, it might sit for another 20 years or so. You never know. So it begins. First load of the year. I gotta calibrate my moisture tester. Almost 18. Not quite, like 17.9. I lied, I used the moisture tester earlier, but well, we made it out here. Combine's roaring around somewhere over here, and surprisingly, I can't find nothing for corn on the ground. I mean, there's a little. If I saw some before, like there's a kernel. Few of them there, but focus. There you go. All in all, not too bad. Must have patched all our holes or something. Man, I tell you, It's probably normal for most people, but it is an absolute night and day difference at how little corn, if any, is on the ground. It just blows my mind. I didn't know that combine could do that good of a job.